Good afternoon. I'm making this video about arepas because I love to make them. I love eating them, and online I noticed there's really no English-speaking tutorials. I mean, you can follow along in the Spanish-speaking ones pretty well, but you know, for lack of having an English-speaking one, I thought I would do this because there's something I love to make and I make all the time. Back when I was in college, I became very close friends with a fellow music student from Venezuela, and I would go over to his house all the time, hang out, and he would make arepas very frequently. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, they're just an all-around meal you can make. So I will get right into it. So here's the star. This is pre-cooked corn flour. And this brand is the go-to brand. It's the most widely used brand, and for years you could not get it in the States. And then it was purchased by a company where we could finally get it. And there are other brands out there. The one that I used to use when I first started making arepas was made by Goya, called masarepa. This is much finer, and you get a more consistent, smooth dough out of it, and it is definitely worth seeking out. Alright, so the package instructions on the back as far as amounts are actually really good. If you want to make a large batch, if you've got a few people to feed, go with the 2 cups of flour to 2.5 cups of water. You can actually cut that in half, which is what I'm going to do. To 1.25 cups of water and 1 cup of masarepa. So what I do first is I've got my water in here. I'm just going to heat it up to a little over room temperature, so around 90 degrees, and so it's pretty much already there. And then put that in the bowl, and we'll start to make the dough. Alright, so here I put my now tepid water in here, into this bowl. I'm going to add a pinch of salt to the arepa dough, and a little glug of oil to the water. And now I am going to start adding the flour and mixing it in little by little. Okay, and just keep stirring it. And then add the last little bit, and now you can see it's starting to turn into paste. So I can see it's like kind of like grits or something, or cornmeal. It's going to come together, but right away this feels a little loose, so I'm going to sprinkle just a tad bit more. Let's see if I can do this without making a mess. It's probably enough. Alright, yeah, there we go. Now, sticky, should be sticky. And then we're going to sort of bring this all together. Now we need to let this sit for 10 to 15 minutes. Alright, now that we have waited about 10-15 minutes, it's time to make the arepas. So I've got here my dough. It's been resting, and definitely what you want to do is you want to get your hands wet. You can also use oil too to do this. And what you want to do is you want to take a piece that is roughly like a little smaller than a tennis ball, and then roll it into a ball in your hands. Okay, and I've got this ball shape, and I'm going to do all the balls first. Put those right here. Wet my hands again. Take another tennis ball-ish sized piece. Roll it up. Roll it like you're making meatballs. Like your Italian grandmother would make meatballs. And look at my last piece here in this. As you can see, this amount of dough will make 4 arepas. Okay. Alright, so now we'll get our burner going here. I'm gonna go it depends, every stove is different. I'm reluctant to say put it on medium because your medium might be wicked hot or it might not be hot enough. So whatever your stove, whatever you know to feel like medium, put it on that setting. So I'm going to put it on my version of medium, which is a little bit south of medium. Get that heated up. Now as far as pans, it works great with like a cast iron or a carbon steel pan, and also non-stick. Get that going, and now we're going to make patties. So let's put a little, you just really need a thin layer. In fact, I'm going to kind of brush this around here. Okay, and now let's wet our hands again. Actually, you know what? This time, to make the patties, I'm going to use a little bit of oil in my hands. Now, take one of your balls and start doing this, back and forth, until they're about, I don't know, what is that? 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch thick, like this. Okay, and then drop that right in the pan. Sizzle. Let's go on to the next one. Another right up here. Make another patty. See what I'm doing? Tap the edges so that any cracks that appear, you want to smooth. You don't want any cracks. If you've got cracks, your dough is too dry and it won't cook right. And number 2 down. Moving on to number 3. Slapping them back and forth. Tap the edges in. Get those in the pan, and then my last one in there. I'll find a little space for it. Don't want them. There we go. Move that guy. Careful moving these. All right, now we're gonna cover. Get down here and see. We're gonna cover, but I'm gonna leave a tiny. Can you see that?
Yeah.
A little tiny gap there, just to let some of the steam escape, because we don't want these to be like steam buns. We do want them to get a crisp. So, timer, 5 minutes. You may adjust if your pan keeps getting hot. You may want to adjust your heat. You want to hear a little sizzle the whole time, but you don't want to burn. So this may take some trial and error. So we'll give that 5 minutes, and then we're going to flip them, and we'll repeat this process for 20 minutes. So a flip back, and another flip. If we were doing this in the oven, which you can do in the cooler season, put your oven to 350, and then sear the arepas in the pan 5 minutes on each side until they get a little bit of a crust. Don't use a cover in that case, and then slide them right in the oven for about 25 minutes at 350. Take them out, and then they'll be done. But this is my summer method, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So we'll be back for the first flip. So let's take this off. Take a look here. Kind of steamy. So let's get it here and flip this first one. So there you go. That's what you want. That nice golden crust on that one. So let's flip the rest of these. That one, it's funny, different areas of the pan are hotter than others. I'll flip those. So these look good for the first. Twist the pan a little bit. Let's get the cover back on and leave that little crack in there, and we're going to do another 5 minutes. It's an easy process, but it requires a lot of just watching things and following a sort of set process. So while that's cooking, let's talk about fillings. The arepa is super versatile. I mean, think of it as like it's bread. And so you can put whatever you would put in a sandwich or whatever, or a taco. A couple of the most popular things are one called Harina P.A.N, which is basically chicken salad. Chicken, mayo, some lime juice, avocado, onion, whatever you want, cilantro even, and you basically make a chicken salad and stuff that inside. Another popular way of filling them is with black beans and cheese, and that's called domino, and that's delicious. You can also do Venezuelan shredded beef. And put that in there, put some cheese, and what I also like to do is make some eggs and some cheese and use that as a stuffing, like when I'm making them for breakfast. So that's what we're going to do today. Well, we've got 2 eggs left. So normally I would do 1 egg per arepa, and I would usually serve 2 arepas per person. They're pretty dense, so 2 is usually plenty. So get these in a bowl.
Interesting.
It's another way of cracking eggs that I learned from my Venezuelan friend with the knuckle. I've just got some sharp cheddar cheese here. Use whatever cheese you like. A melty cheese, or a soft cheese, or a crumbly cheese like queso fresco. Whatever floats your cheese boat. All right, so let's give these a flip again. Okay, flip on that second side. And if you find that when you flip that for the second time, if you don't really have much browning, you can turn your heat up a little bit more. You can toast it a little bit more until it gets that. Okay, flip these off. Don't burn yourself. All right. So let's get these again. Once again, put our half lid on, and then there we go again. Another 5 minutes. All right, we're ready for the final flip. Nice. Very nice. See, they're getting more and more brown. You don't want them burned. If you're seeing black spots, you need to lower the heat. Okay. What I've been doing is about halfway through this final flip, this final cook, I'll take the lid off and let them finish in the, uncovered, so that they don't come out. Because you do want them still a bit crisp. And start prepping the eggs. Just gonna scramble them up. Alright, so we're about halfway through, and now I will take this lid off, get it out of the way, and get ready to take these out in a few minutes. Alright, so these guys are done. Let's take them out. Put them on a little plate. Let them rest. I got some shredded cheese here, cheddar, mix that in. So let's set that aside. I've also got some homemade salsa here. Grab one of your arepas and split open the side carefully. Not all the way around. You want to go just to the point where you can kind of make like a hole in there. Now you can see some of this stuff is in here, and you can, a lot of people just eat it. You can also just kind of scoop it out, the extra cornmeal. And again, it's very hot, so we're going to take some of our egg mixture, open up our pocket. You can see that's like a Pac-Man. Feed it. Just be careful. These are hot. A little thing of salsa, if you like. Just put that in there. And then we have one arepa ready. So we'll finish these up and then eat. Alright, so let's give these a try now. Arepas, and remember, stuff them with whatever you like. I gave you some examples there that are very good. Let's do the egg and cheese and salsa. Bon appetit!